Jason, thank you for joining us. We were hearing that this was the most important OPEC meeting for a decade. It was also surrounded in politics because of the various members' divisions over the democracy movements in the Middle East. Where did this break down, and was that politics anything to do with it?
Well, I don't really think that it was as big a purely political different stance issue as really it's a factor of who has spare capacity, who has supply, and who does not. It might also be a differentiation of outlooks. If we look at what the global economy might look like at the back end of this year or next year, what oil demand might look like the back end of this year or next year, I think there are differing opinions. But the truth is, at the end of the day, really only Saudi Arabia has significant spare capacity to raise production now, and that means that for a lot of the other members, they really didn't have too much of a choice.
Now, Saudi Arabia has said that it will raise production if needed. When you get these kind of divisions and a lack of consensus, what does this do for the solidarity and the credibility of OPEC?
Well, I think the thing to keep in mind is that in a rising price environment, we've seen this in the past. They suspended quotas in the past. For individual countries, they did this last October. For the whole group, they did this back in 2008. You can see them suspend that quota, and it doesn't really matter. Group cohesion is most important when the prices are in a downward movement in order to provide a price floor. But when prices are this high, and really the outlook is higher for demand as well as bearish dollar factors pushing up prices, it's less important that there's group cohesion about how much oil goes onto a market that's thirsty for more oil.
So when one delegate says that this could mean an end to the quota system, do you think that that's overplaying it?
Well, we've seen the quotas be suspended in the past, so that's not really something new. I think the quotas being suspended when the global economy is at record levels of growth and rising oil demand levels, I think that's reasonable, but I think the quotas are going to come back into play whenever you see economic downturns as the group tries to prevent oversupply of the market, which could cause prices to fall very, very sharply and could hurt long-term investment and provide even greater volatility in the longer run. That's where they're really going to try to have cohesion.
Now, what is this likely to do for oil prices? We've seen what's happened to them today, but over the next few weeks and months.
You know, I think you're going to see a lot of volatility. I think there's a lot of things that really for oil look quite bullish, regardless of whether Saudi Arabia puts more oil on the market or not. And the truth is that more important than today's decision may have been Ben Bernanke's statements yesterday about accommodative monetary policy. I mean, there may even be the hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge that there could be a QE3. The fact that the U.S. has to remain so concerned about its growth and the monetary policy remains in such a situation with so accommodative easing in place, and the debt situation unresolved, very bearish for the dollar. That means in dollar terms, the price of oil is likely to rise.
No, they've said that they're going to look at these over the next 3 months, and I suppose an awful lot can change over 3 months, particularly when you look at the volatile situation in Libya, Yemen, Syria. What are the mechanics of this? Will they sit down and talk again, or will this now be an informal decision?
25 meetings or so, we haven't seen anything like that.
No, I don't think there's going to be any decision. I think the next sort of decision is going to be when they meet in December. They've said that they're going to meet back here December 13th, 14th in Vienna. They're moving really to one meeting every 6 months. They're no longer meeting every time the price of oil goes up or down $10 or $20. If they were to do that, they'd be meeting here all the time.
Okay, Jason Schenker, from President of Prestige Economics. Thank you so much for joining us from Vienna.